Alright, welcome to how to use a power meter in 15 minutes. So here we have a bit of footage here going up the expressway bike track in Adelaide, Australia, waving some good day to some friends. And don't get run over by the bus doing it. Remember, whenever you take your hands off the bars and look around, your bike might swing a different direction, so be very careful what is around you. Bottom line rule in cycling, pay fucking attention. Pay attention. Adam's just joined me now, so we're heading up the freeway. There's a little fun ride here in Adelaide, Australia. Great place for cycling. Basically, how to use a power meter. A power meter is basically a pacing tool. It's a little measurement, a little gadget that goes on your bicycle, and it measures how much force you're putting through the pedals. Now, if you're riding a normal bicycle, or if you're a Paralympic or para-athlete in a wheelchair or a hand bike, you can measure your wattage as well. So today we're going to talk about the bicycle power meter, measuring the force going through the pedals, whether you're pedaling with your feet or your hands. It's the same thing. What it does is it just lets you pace. So right now I'm sitting on about 280 watts. I sort of average 280 watts for this climb, which is around, at my current weight, it's around 4 watts per kilo. So for me, that's tempo. My heart rate for this 20-minute climb was about 150 beats per minute. So I can hold 170 beats per minute for about 3 hours in a marathon, or 2 hours 48 to be specific. So heart rate, you can see, is not really accurate. I can't hold 280 watts for 2 hours 48. I just can't do that. But I can hold 150 heart rate for probably 5 hours. So heart rate is very, very, very inaccurate because there's too many things that affect heart rate. We have caffeine, we have heat, we have muscle glycogen levels. These all affect heart rate. So heart rate is a very poor thing to pace with. Heart rate obviously is a good thing. It's better than nothing, but power is more absolute. So I'd go by power when you're pacing, because heart rate really does fluctuate a lot. It fluctuates so much based, like I said, the variables: caffeine, hydration, stress, excitement. But power is absolute. Power is absolute. Doesn't matter if I'm here. I'm riding a bamboo bicycle, a heavy bicycle in terms of racing bike weight specifics. It's a heavy bike. It doesn't matter, because the power meter, it's showing me my watts. So it doesn't matter if my bike's 10 kilos or 6.8 kilos. The power is the same. So you can see my cadence as well. I'm spinning over 90 cadence, probably closer to 100. I average about 92 cadence for this climb for 20 minutes. Adam behind me, his cadence is a bit lower, but he's just cruising, so it doesn't matter too much. But it is a good idea, even when you are just cruising, it's a good idea to learn cadence. So when you go put the power down, you have that neuromuscular facilitation. Your legs can actually spin. So I've been practicing for about 4 years now, ever since I rode with Lance Armstrong in 2009. And I went for like a 5-hour ride with Lance, sitting on the back of the peloton. Lance is a starter team, and I rode for about 4 or 5 hours. And Lance was manic with the cadence, man. He's just spinning everywhere. I'm like, interesting. So ever since then, I started looking at more about training with power and cadence, and its role there. So again, bottom line rule to cycling: pay attention. There's witches' hats around. You might note me pointing the witches' hats out to Adam behind me, etc. Because the rider in front, they're the eyes of the road. So you need to point shit out. All right. Don't let people behind you crash because you're too lazy to point out that bottle or the whatever, the gravel around the corner. So we're just cruising up here, slowing up. Look, a little contender. Check out this guy here in the yellow black kit. He's like, banana boy, banana girl. All right, let's show him some gas. So he's accelerated. And now Freely's actually filming this with my GoPro, so I'm telling Freely, just, go for it, hit it harder. So now we're speeding up here, and I've got mate Johnny behind me in the white and black kit on the Cannondale. Johnny, I've known since '97. He sort of helped me get into bike racing back then, told me what to do with licenses and gave me some tips on racing. So Johnny was a big instigator of me starting bike racing back in 1997. December '97 was my first ever crit, and I rode that crit in shorts and t-shirt. Good stuff. Hang around people who can raise you to the next level. So power meter is a pacing tool. You want to use it to pace with. And right now, I know that the guy who just attacked past us, here we go, there he is there. He's just blown up. And I knew he was going to blow up because I looked at my wattage. I'm doing about 280, 300, and he's surging at probably 550 watts. All right, for 550 watts, he's doing roughly. So I know that's not going to be sustainable unless he's a pro rider. And he ain't a pro rider. I'm not a pro rider either. But so the power meter just lets you know straight away if someone's going to stay away or not. And I knew he wasn't gonna, so I gave him like 20 seconds or whatever. He did good. It's all about having fun on the bike. There's no wrongs, you know. Just as long as you're getting your heart rate up, getting some breathing done. That's the main thing. Spin the little legs out. So you can see my cadence here the whole way up. Just spinning, 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 and that way you lose. You don't produce as much lactate really in your legs. We don't feel like you do anyway, because your legs are just getting momentum to spin around, and this gets the blood going. I remember talking to Dr. Ferrari one time on email, and he was saying that when you use cadence, it acts as like a peripheral pump because your blood is just getting circulated a lot easier. Alright, so that's definitely a tip there that you want to. Actually, I'll put a link down below to Dr. Ferrari. Actually did write an article about it, and check it out. Even though Dr. Ferrari is a head doping coach, you still have to understand how the body works as a cyclist. So definitely got some good things to share there. Even though his main role of fame is sports doping of tennis players, cyclists, swimmers, runners, etc., boxers. Everyone's on the gear at the top, man. Everyone's on the fucking gear. And we have another contender coming up behind in the Johnny's waving goodbye there. He's done his shift. We have another contender in the orange kit. Another fit person, another fit lad coming along. And so you can see my little handlebar there. Just here we go. That black tip on the end of my handle, that's a little mirror, so I can see who's coming along, who's the contender, who wants to have a go. I'm not going full gas up here because there's a lot of riders on the road. There's a lot of riders out of Australia, so I'm not going full gas. To go full gas up a climb this busy, it's not really smart. It's a bit stupid, really. So I'm going tempo. I'm going hard tempo up here, 280 watts, hard tempo. Just getting some spinning going and just paying attention to riders around me, not passing too aggressively, whatever it may look like it. Get out of the way, no. Just using a bit of etiquette. Just, again, paying attention to what the riders up ahead are doing, so I'm not running up the behind them, which sometimes happens out there on the road, and I've done that myself in the past. So you always want to keep your heads up, and before you look down, look up. Before you look down, always fucking look up. Before you look down at your power meter or your wattage or whatever, look up. Alright, you want to look up. You notice I'm not using a water bottle. I actually had the water bottle in the pannier bag on the bike Freely's riding, so I do definitely ride with the water bottle. I just didn't put it in there just to save it for a couple of grams. Just for Strava. The rider behind me doing quite well. His cadence is pretty good as well. His posture is pretty relaxed, his shoulders are pretty relaxed, he's doing pretty well. And I can tell by the wattage that he's a very fit guy. I mean, wattage doesn't lie. Average speed means fuck all. Speed means fuck all, because you might have a wind, the road surface might be rough or whatever, or smooth or slow, you might have a slow leak, you might be, sitting on the back of the group, on the front of the group. Average speed means nothing. People are like, what's your average speed, Harley? What's your average watts per kilo? That's more important. So average speed means nothing. Don't even worry about average speed. You want to go by wattage. You want to go by wattage. I'm wearing a little intercom system on my helmet here, and I can communicate with Freely to go a little bit harder, a little bit easier. So we're cruising down here. This is a GoPro Hero 4, in case you're wondering. I think it's 1080p, 60 frames per second. So cadence, this is really good. I can't even feel my legs right now. I cannot even feel my legs. There's no chain on the bike. Basically all I can feel is my breathing, heart rate, and that's it. I can feel my heart beating. And now I'm going to ramp it up. Look at this. Here we go. I'm in the cat pounce position. Now I'm getting the cat pounce. Now I'm putting the wattage up. So probably sitting about 500. Boom. Rider behind me. He's coming back up again. He's coming up. He's like a Mako shark. This is good fun. It's all about having fun on the bike. You race each other. You want to have a go? Let's do it. So it's all about having fun on the bike, and everyone gets fitter at the same time. You learn more about your body, etc. So the guy behind me, very fit rider as well. Boom, pop, just sent. I put another acceleration in. Thing up to 500 watts. And in my mirror I can just see him popping off there, and that's it. So now you can see my faces are changing a bit, my body language. I'm out the saddle more. I'm still keeping the wattage pretty good, just about 500, just boosting up around here. Again, not going full gas because there's riders zigzagging around the road. So I'm definitely paying attention to what's around me. For safety, you want to be safe. The main reason people crash on a bike is they're just not paying attention. Alright, they're not paying attention. You've got to look up the road, pay attention to what's coming up the road. That's the biggest tip I can offer anyone. Even myself, most of my crashes happen when I'm not paying attention. I was texting my phone one time, went over the gutter, over the bars. Go around the corner too fast, not looking through the corner, hit the gravel, come down. You want to pay attention on the bike. Most accidents happen because people don't pay attention. Alright, back in the screen now. So you can see the leanness. There's not much fat or fluid around my knees. You can see that leanness. Alright? That's leanness. That's low body fat, low fluid level. not storing much excess fluid, which you don't do anyway when you're very fit and eating a high carbohydrate, low protein sort of diet. Quite lean here, but again, just a high carb diet, high carb vegan diet long term. I don't cut my calories or anything like that. I just eat as much as I want, whenever I want, of just good foods, good quality vegan tucker. And there you go. So I'm just cruising up the hill here. Drop the wattage a bit, but again, the riders behind, they dropped off the back. They've had enough. So I'm just going to keep going. I wanted to get a bit of a 20-minute workout at a decent wattage, sort of just, you know, get the blood flowing. Past a few people to Go Vegan kit on there, just a bit of razzing up. So how to use a power meter is you don't have to do a functional threshold test, because those things vary all the fucking time. All I recommend doing is get your power meter and get on Strava, and you'll soon work out what wattage you can hold for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, alright? So if you're an Ironman triathlete, you need a fucking power meter, alright? You need a power meter. The people who really need power meters is the triathletes. When they're doing time trials, you need to know what fucking watts you're doing. People are like, I just ride to emotion, I ride to feel, and that's why you fucking never do as good as you could, because you don't ride to the technology that supports better efficiency, better performance. So the reason why nobody passes me up the hill on this day is because I'm riding to wattage, I'm pacing myself, I'm not blowing myself. You can't blow up when you use a power meter. When you actually fucking look at your power meter, you can't blow up. Because you just go, okay, yeah, I'll stay at this zone, stay at this wattage, keep cruising, and you just go forever. You can fucking go forever if you ride at wattage. What's a good wattage to ride at? Start riding it between 1 to 3 watts per kilo. Alright? Ride it for an hour at 1 watt per kilo. Can you do that? Okay, good. Ride for an hour at 2 watts per kilo. You can do that, good. Then go for 3 watts per kilo. Then go for 4 watts per kilo for an hour. Things like that. And so you'll soon work out what you can hold for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, etc. So the power meter, bottom line, how to learn a power meter, it's just a pacing tool. Alright, too many people make it hard than it really is. It's just a fucking pacing tool. And you work out what watts per kilo you can hold for you to climb on the street or whatever. If you want to go for an easy ride, you want to keep it maybe 1 to 3 watts per kilo. And if you're an absolute noob, maybe 3 watts per kilo is like all out. But eventually, you'll be able to ride at 4 or 5 watts per kilo for a few minutes or an hour or whatever, depending on your fitness level. So you get a power meter as soon as you can. It's going to help you a lot. Freely's even got a power meter. Freely doesn't even race. Freely's never even she's done 2 bunch rides in her entire life, but she uses a power meter.
I'm hardcore now.
She's hardcore now. And the reason why she uses it is because now she can pace herself. Freely used to go and hit 500 watts at the start of a climb. Go, I just want to get the climb, I just want to get the climb. And she didn't really enjoy it, because when you're putting out 500 watts, you just like, that's 10 watts per kilo. You just produce so much lactate, and it hurts and it burns. And Freely's not full of painkillers, so she feels that pain, and then the brain says, look, this sucks. So get a power meter and ride at 1 to 3 watts per kilo. Just cruise around. You know, if 3 watts per kilo is too much, ride at 1 watt per kilo. If 1's not enough, ride at 2 watts per kilo. If 2 not enough, ride at 7 watts per kilo. You'll soon work out what you can do. As an example, someone like Lance Armstrong or Chris Froome, those guys could ride at 7 watts per kilo for half an hour on fresh legs. Fatigue legs, after 5 hours of racing in the sun, they could probably run about 6.5 watts per kilo for half an hour approximately. Give or take a few percent there, but there you go. That's watts per kilo. What's your average speed? Doesn't fucking matter. What's your watts per kilo for 10 minutes? That's more of an indication of what's going on. Alright? So that's what you want to do. So functional threshold, again, it varies too much. I'd just say stick with Strava segments and what watts you can hold for, you know, your favourite Strava segment. Because that's what you want to get better at, isn't it? You want to get better. If you get better at climbing, everything else gets better. Every aspect in your life gets better. So focus on climbing mountains. Use a power meter to pace yourself. I'll put some more information down below. But 1 to 3 watts per kilo to start with. And just cruise around, have fun. Spin the legs.